Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Chrome Soft Golf Ball from Callaway.
It is day 3 of Tiger Woods' latest comeback after 7 months away in the ankle fusion surgery. 75 to start, 70 yesterday, and 71 today. A mixed bag. Plenty of good swings, a few made putts, but some uncharacteristic mental mistakes, though, given that he's been away for so long, maybe to be expected this time around. Here's Tiger after the round.
Generally, I would have, normally it's short game, the touch and feels. But when you're chipping off of Bermuda like this, and this is probably one of the hardest golf courses we face all year round, to try and hit chips. And it's ball sits down, you got to hit the ball up, and early in the week it was basically like a round table asking each other, what are you going to do? How are you going to play this? How are you going to do that? And you never find that in any other tournament. This place is a little bit different, and as far as my feels, generally, as the week progresses, my feel for pin high gets better and better each and every day, and I think that's an indication this week. I know the score doesn't indicate what I think I could have shot today, but it was definitely clearer than it was yesterday. It's not bothering me. No, the foot's not bothering me, but other parts are. Yes. I'm very excited at how have felt physically. Knocking off some rust. I mean, we can always knock off rust at home, but it's so different come game time. As I've said to you guys early in the week, game time speed is different than at home speed, and to be able to knock off some of the rust as I have this week is, and to show to myself that I can recover each and every day. That was kind of an unknown as far as I've walked this far. I've done all of my training, but add in playing and concentration and adrenaline and all these other factors that speed up everything. I'm very excited how the week's turned out. I could always hit it. I could never get from point A to point B. Once the bone on bone was relieved with the fusion, it's felt night and day. Granted, I don't have mobility, but the fact that I'm able to walk and participate again without having to feel the way I felt, just trying to do it again, that was frustrating. Now I'm able to do it, and now it's just a matter of getting the reps in.
Tiger, you said earlier this week that you're swinging essentially what your body will let you swing,
Yep.
Dictating it. Is there anything you can't do that maybe you used to be able to do with the golf ball?
There's a lot of things I can't do that I used to do with the golf ball.
Just distance, or is there something?
I used to be able to call upon any shape, any shot, whatever you wanted, and was able to contort myself to those shots. I can't do that anymore. As I said earlier, that I've always been one that has been able to hit the ball in the middle of the face, and so that's been good. And I think I was saying this to you guys yesterday, that I'm hitting the ball further than I did when I first came out on tour, just because I'm slower by the tech, but I'm still able to hit the ball in the middle of the face. So there's always an advantage to do that.
Tiger, what about your back in all of this? Obviously, we focus on your leg, but that's a big issue for you still. How would you compare it to where, maybe you were when you had that last microdiscectomy, which was obviously...
No, I had the fusion first, yeah. Well, the last micro, yeah. My back hurts every day. It is what it is. It's just life. But I can deal with that. That's not a problem.
Rich Lerner alongside Brandel Chamblee. Brandel, in a separate interview with Todd Lewis, Tiger said, quote, and I loved it, he said, "I still have game. It's whether or not the body can hold up." How do you see it?
Well, I have to agree with him. I would say that's an understatement. He still has extraordinary amounts of game, loads of speed. Close to 180 he's approached this week. He's driving it straight. He's chipping it beautifully. The putter has looked pretty good this whole week. It wasn't a good day on the greens for Saturday. Wasn't good, but for the most part, it's looked good all week long. It's just been the question of can he get around. We saw him work his way through 2018, 2019. This is a very similar swing to that. And today, what I was really impressed with was that the swing got longer. It was short on Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday. But today it got longer, which tells me he's feeling better. He's messing around with it. He's playing. But he's got a tall task ahead of him.
What do you suppose he will be working on in the coming weeks and months?
Oh, gosh. he's been talking a lot about his feels, trying to recreate your feels, hitting his windows. When you go play in a golf tournament, you come back home and the mistakes are so fresh in your mind. So you're like, okay, now I know exactly what I need to work on. I'm having trouble in between yardages with my mid-irons. So you go and you mess around with your ball position. You're like, do I need to move it back a little bit, a little up a little bit? I need to shorten my swing. So that's called fine-tuning. That's sharpening the knife, so to speak. All of the things that you need to have in order to play top-level golf is almost impossible to replicate at home. You have to go out and play, and you're like, oh, yeah, now I remember. I got to be able to hit that downhill pitch into the grain to a tight lie. I've got to do that. Oh, yeah, now I remember. I got a hook lie into one, but I got a left to right wind. I know exactly what I need to do all that. So there's just an almost infinite number of shots that you have to have in your Rolodex.
What was your biggest concern coming into this week?
Well, that he would look worse as the week wore on, that he wouldn't be able to recover, because that was the case when we got to see him play in 2022, and that was the case when we got to see him play a few tournaments in 2023. As the week wore on, he looked worse to the point where he was having to withdraw. Obviously, it was bone on bone, and there were issues there. He says he no longer has the pain in the ankle. So the fact that he's able to get around, and then when I saw his swing on Wednesday or Tuesday on social media, my concern was, okay, it's just not going to be long enough, so not going to be quiet enough or graceful enough in transition for him to have all the sequencing he needs, so the irons are not going to be as good. But that hasn't been the case. It's been pretty darn quiet in transition, and it got longer today. Having said all that, right, he's 48 years old. He's all banged up. If you go look at the top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour, okay, so we're talking about Tom Watson, Middlecoff, Mickelson, Casper, Hagen, Palmer, Nicklaus, Hogan, Snead. Collectively, they won 6 golf tournaments over the age of 48. Snead won 3, Mickelson won 2, Tom Watson won 1. Now, what did those three, the 3 that won, what did they have in common? They all had really long swings, played injury-free throughout their careers, and they looked like they never aged. Their swings never aged. Having said all that, the competition now, on top of that, these limiting elements, they pile up. The competition's gotten much, much tougher that Tiger Woods is going up against. And I would say that they no longer really look at Tiger Woods. They're still intimidated by him, no doubt, and we saw that in the 2019 Masters. But I would say they're not quite as intimidated by him as they used to be, because Tiger Woods has gotten a whole lot more friendly. He's a father figure to these players. He's an elder statesman. He's a mentor.
A lot of these guys weren't born when he won the '97 Masters, or they were in the crib, or they were playing with plastic clubs.
He's not a peer. He's friends with them, and they look up to him, and he's eager to help them.
He seems optimistic, genuinely optimistic about what's going on here when you listen to him in the interviews.
And with good reason. No doubt when he was at home, he was seeing great results, and that's likely why he was so optimistic and definitive in the media center when asked if he thought he could win, and he said, absolutely. Look, if he plays one tournament a month this year and maybe next year and so forth, it wouldn't surprise me if he got another victory or two. I've seen enough to say it's certainly in the books.
Tiger's out.
The realm of possibility.
Yeah, a final round at his tournament, 11:08 Eastern Time, with Sam Burns. We're with you on the pregame at 10:30 right here on Golf Channel.